Welcome back, crew. It's June, so we're still diving into the amazing Lancer RPG system. Hopefully, you've seen our first impressions of it already. If not, go check that out. But today, we're diving into how to build a PC utilizing the system. So, for those of you who are familiar, didn't catch that first impressions, Lancer is the system that's all about mech combat and bringing it to the table. So, today, we're going to go through and build a pilot as well as our own mech warrior style suit and see how it plays out and give us some crazy features. So stay tuned for that. But before we dive into that fully, two shout outs I want to give. First one is we are going to be holding our live actual play Lancer game on Wednesday, the 29th of June, kind of end the month. You can see me and my crew pick up the system, dive into it head first. This is all of our first times, and get to see some amazing Lancer mechy goodness. So join us for that. I'm looking forward to it. It's been nice kind of experimenting with these systems, and my crew is pretty excited for this one. So I think y'all will have a blast watching us. But if that's not enticing enough, we're going to be giving away a copy of the Lancer PDF system to one lucky viewer during the actual play game. So join us on the 29th at my Twitch channel, Tegan J Gaming, link right down in the description. Come hang out with us. And maybe you'll get lucky and you'll get to be the lucky raffle winner and take home this amazing system and bring it back to your crew. Part of why I've started doing this whole Game of the Month piece and started this channel was I play a lot of 5e. For those of you guys who know me from Dungeon Jedi Masters, I play a ton of Star Wars 5e. But I wanted to experiment with some more systems, and I wanted to get more people playing additional systems that are not just in that 5e bubble, which is why we do those raffles, why we do the live actual plays. So you can see the system, see it's not hard to learn. We're going to mess up some stuff as we go through it, but we're going to have, hopefully we'll have some fun with it. And I'm actually pretty stoked for this system too, so this should be a blast. And then eventually at the end of the system or end of the game, we raffle off that PDF so you can bring it to your crew, have some fun, and just kind of expand your bubble a little bit outside of the norm. So join us for that. Should be a blast. But let's kick it into gear and build our own mech warrior. So couple things before we go into it too in depth. So with this system, things you want to know is that we are going to be building two pieces of this. So we're building the mech as well as the pilot. So we get to actually go through and design our own pilot and a little bit of let's give you guys a little bit of the base that I want to build. So I wanted to build a hardened pilot who's gone through numerous encounters. He's at the stick. He knows how to command the battlefield, get in there, get the job done, and get his pay at the end of the day. So Kenra is going to be a little bit of a cold customer, but he's going to be very proficient with his mech. We're going to give him some cool features that build along that. And we're going to kind of build him out as we pick those features too. So keep that in mind as we're going through it. So we're going to be going through that piece of it. And we're also, since I play most of my games online and my players are online as well, I'm going to show you how to build it in the Roll20 system. So the nice thing is all the stuff stays the same. So if you're doing a paper sheet or if you're in Founder or something like that, it still works for you. But since I play in Roll20, I wanted to make sure that we go through it and it could show how everything does. I know a lot of people play in Roll20 too. So that's part of it. And the last big thing I'll say before we dive into the actual process, for new GMs, people new to a system, the biggest piece of advice I can give you is to go through and build a PC like we're about to do. It just allows you to learn the system and it kind of forces you to look up mechanics as you see the different features that you can put in for your PC. Lets you find what the system prioritizes, maybe what it doesn't. And it also, especially because you're going to be the GM, even if you're new to a system, you're going to be the guy that's answering questions. So this is going to allow you to know what questions may come up and hopefully have an answer for them before the players come at you. So a lot of goodness for it, but let's get into it. So you're going to see the cool art for the Lancer system as we dive into the PDF. Another big shout out for this. I think I mentioned it before, but the PDF, the useful bookmarks are amazing. It just makes life so much easier as you're going through and building a PC. It saved me a ton of flipping as I prepared for this video. So we're going to build our pilot first. So let me make that a little bigger for you all. So you should be able to see that now. So you get to see that you get base statistics. And I know we're going to go through some of these different options pretty quickly. We're doing a mechanics video with this system next week. So we're going to be going into all the different mechanics, what they mean, how they work. So that don't get discouraged if I say a lot of terms this time and don't go into them. We're going to go over that in depth next week. But base level with your pilot, you get 6 HP plus your grit. So with my guys, we're starting at license level 1. And let's go to license levels a little bit. That's a core piece of building a PC. So with license levels, you start off at license level 0. But as you progress, you get to level up like usual stuff. You get like different stat increases, different triggers you can buy, and all of that. But the unique piece of the system is it's not like you're leveling up one mech or one line of mech. When you level up, you get one license point that you can spend, and that license point allows you to buy a certain manufacturer's mech line of products. So one thing I got mixed up on, and I want to call this out specifically because I got to get a little confused when I was reading through. I initially, when I first read it, thought you bought a license for the manufacturer as a whole, so you got all of their level 1 product lines. That's not true. So you buy it for one mech and you level up in that mech's product line. So just to keep in mind as you're going through it. And with this too, so you start off with the GMS Everest, and that's what we're going to be building today since we're license level 1. It takes 2 license ranks to buy a new mech. So you won't be able to buy a new one to license level 2. So keep that in mind and just make sure as you're kind of making your decisions, and they're very nice about allowing you to reallocate points and kind of start fresh. But just as you're making those decisions, just make sure you're a little bit strategic about it and you're going through and picking the ones you want to have, especially as you get to that level 2 and get to pick your new mech if you'd like. So just a couple shout outs there. But we've got our base statistics for our pilot. The 4 big pieces we need to do are we're going to go through and pick our background, pick our triggers, get all of our combat statistics jotted down into Roll20, and then we're going to choose our gear. Actually, we're going to do a little bit. So we're going to choose our gear, then go back and put our statistics into Roll20 because armor and all that changes quite a bit. So let's go choose our background. So I said Kenra, he's a hardened ace. He's been in battles before. I'm kind of picturing him as a little bit of a fighter for hire. And so you'll see with these backgrounds, they offer 20 of them. You can roll a d20 and pick which one you like. I like to be a little bit more intentional, so I'm going to go with Mercenary for him. I feel like he's the type of guy that's soldier of fortune. He's willing to go on the battlefield, take on some crazy jobs with his mech, just as long as the pay is right. So that's what we're going to go for him. And you see they offer some example triggers, and we're going to take 2 of those triggers. We're going to take Blow Something Up. We're also going to take Control too. So 2 of those are there. You get to pick 4 triggers at level 0. And then at level 1, you get to add either a +2 to one of your triggers or pick an entirely new one. So we're going to go into that when we get to Roll20. Nice thing with these 2 are these apply during narrative play. So this is something that usually comes up in combat, but it allows you to, in narrative play, have something from your background that kind of shines through, and you can call that trigger in and then roll a d20 and add your modifier to it. So pretty cool. So we're doing Mercenary. You'll see they actually list out the triggers here too and show a little bit of kind of what they are and how they work. So we picked Blow Something Up. So this is going to allow you to use explosive, improvised, or otherwise weapons or good old-fashioned broad to totally wreck something or turn it into an enormous fireball. I like fireballs, and I feel like Kenra, our mech pilot, loves fireballs. So this is going to let him do that and get some fun things he can do with that and add a little bit of a bonus to it when he tries to take these type of actions. And he gets to have 3 more, and we'll go through to that when we get to Roll20. So we picked our background, we picked our triggers. We're going to go through and pick our gear. So let's go to the compendium, and as I mentioned before in our first video, I like how they have everything just laid out in one spot versus kind of clogging up the pages with everything else. So with our guy, he gets 2 weapons, armor, and then kind of a couple of other, like I think 3 other, he could choose up to 3 other systems to support him. So with this, you get different types of gear. You see they've got archaic, they've got some melee weapons. I'm going to give him a light sidearm. So I'm going to give kind of flavor it as like a little tactical knife that he keeps on him. Just in case he ever loses his mech and has to go out on foot, he needs something to protect him in case something gets close to him. They also get ranged weapons. With this one, I'm going to give him a medium. We call it kind of a little medium energy rifle that he always keeps with him. It's a signature weapon. Just in case he ever has to go in and just clean up on the ground, he's got that right next to him. So we've picked our weapons. We've got a tactical knife as well as a ranged weapon. And I should mention too with these, so they give you like these damages and different ranges and things they have for it, but it's entirely up to you to flavor it. They also, if you wanted to, you could roll a d6 and choose their notable features for each of these lines, or you can just kind of flavor it yourself like we did. So either way works. So we picked that out. Now we have to pick out the hard suit. So now you notice a few things with the hard suit is it changes kind of what you bonuses you get or what your overall stats are. So nice thing is they almost all apply either a +3 to your HP or give you flight or invisibility or something cool with it. I wanted to be basic with this. I chose the assault hard suit, so it gives me 3 additional HP, gives me 1 armor point, and armor points like DR, so damage reduction. It also gives us, so it bumps our evasion and E defense a little bit down. So it's down to 8 versus a 10. Keeps our speed the same. So we can go in there now. We've built out our pilot. Let's jump into the section and throw some cool stuff at our Roll20 pilot. Sweet. You should be able to see our sheet for the Roll20 section with our cool pilot, Kenra. So we're not going to worry about the backstory section. And I just filled in a couple of these just to save time so you don't have to see me type it and click it away. So with this, with our triggers, we've got blow something up, take control, which I gave a +4. He's the type of guy, he's a merc. He's been in the shit for a while. He wants to run in and say, hey, I know what you guys need to do. So take control is part of it. Get a hold of something. He's resourceful, and he's been in the business for a while. He knows how to read a situation and see when the poodoo's about to hit the fan. So that's his triggers. But let's add in some of the things we mentioned. We're not going to worry about appearance, backstory, and all that today, but we are going to add in his armor. He's got assault armor. That gives 1 point there. 8, 8, 4. And no additional bonuses, so got him all set there. His tactical knife. That's going to give him the range of 3. Damage 1. Kinetic. We're going to give him the laser rifle. That's range of that's range of 5, I believe. I didn't write that down, unfortunately. With actually, let's look it up in the book so I give you all the for sure right answer. So signature ranged 5, damage 2. Sweet. So we've got his armor, we've got his weapons in there, we've got his triggers in there, we've got his background as a mercenary. We built some of the core pieces of our pilot. So the other big thing too is you get to choose your mech skills. They're kind of determined by your pilot and how kind of what they prioritize in their own training. So with our guy, so he likes to have a nimble mech. So we're gonna give him 2 points. Oh, and actually, let me clarify too. So you start off with 2 points you can put in there, and at each license level up, you get another 2 points you can put in too. So we're giving 2 to agility and 1 to hull. So agility increases your evasion score as well as your speed. So that's going to give us 2 points to our max evasion. It's going to give us 1 additional speed point. With the hull, it's going to give us 2 HP and then we're halfway there to an additional repair point. Sweet. So we've got that in there. We got his triggers, we got his pilot armor, pilot weapons, all that. We built our pilot. So let's go into the next section where we're going to build out our talents for our pilot. So talents are kind of like if you're coming from 5e like I am, they're like, think of them like feats. But with this system, they like to do things in ranks of 3. So like with your license levels, they go in ranks of 3. Your talents do ranks of 3 as well. So you start off with 4 talents that you can pick. So they're super generous. I thought you just get like 2 of them. But you get to pick 4 different talents, which is that your mech or your pilot has that you bring to his mech. And then you also get to go through and then at level 1, so our guys are level 1, and you could rank one of those up to 2. So I'm not going to go through each of the 4 we picked, but I am going to pick on one of them because our guy's he's a brutal mercenary. He's not one that's gonna play around with you if he shoots. So I took the brutal talent, just rank 1 for him. So Predator, if he rolls a d20, which he crit, nat 20, it's going to allow him to do the maximum possible damage. So usually you roll 2 dice or roll whatever your dice is twice. This, he just gets to max it out. So if he had a d6 for his attack, now it's he's taking 12. That person's taking 12 damage to 2 max d6s. So pretty cool there. Thought that fit him. But that's one of his talents. And you kind of go through like that. You pick your 4 initial ones, and each time you level up, you can choose to pick a new one or just continue to rank up within there. So let's go back into Roll20. And this is another one I pre-filled just to save a little bit of time since you guys didn't want to see me clicking around and copying and pasting. But I clicked Brutal, Crack Shot. We're going to see where our guy's going to be using rifles pretty often. This is going to allow him to get a little bit better accuracy with it. Leader, as I mentioned, I wanted him to be an experienced old merc. He's not the type to lead on charisma, but he will bark out orders on what you should be doing. And then Walking Armory. He's been in the biz for a while. He knows what he needs to equip out his mech with to be successful in the situation. And this one's pretty cool. It gives you like different ammo casing you can use, or different armaments or ammo that you can use to make it pretty, some cool effects you can add to it. So that's his rank 2 one. I gave him the second one for his level 1 license to bump that up a bit. So we built out our talents. Now we're going to go in and build out our mech itself. So let's go. So as I said, we're license level 1. Until license level 2, you only have the option for the Everest mech. So we chose the Everest mech. And that's what we're going to be building out. Because until you get license level 2, you just have access to the general Massive Systems GMS's portfolio. So that's what we're going to use for our mech and kind of get that all going. So this is the Everest. You'll see some of its core functions in there. And actually, let's we'll go in and we'll put all the core functions in when we go in for the last step. But we're going to go through kind of step by step and pick out what's going to be important for this mech. So this is our base stats. So a couple things I'm going to call out before we go in and build it. So let's take a look at the main mount, the flex mount, and the heavy mount. So the main mount is going to be your main weapon. That can do either your main weapon or an auxiliary weapon. The flex mount can do a main weapon or 2 auxiliary weapons. And the heavy mount can do either a main weapon, a heavy weapon, or an auxiliary weapon. With our guy, I wanted him to, so he's taking that crack shot. And he's a rifle guy. So we're taking 2 different rifles. The assault rifle, which comes based in the GMS portfolio. And then we're going to use our license level 1. So we get to pick 1 new license. And we're going to pick it out for the Sherman mech, which we'll go to in just a second. And we're going to pick out the laser rifle for it. So that's what we got for our main mount is going to be that assault rifle. Our flex mount is our heavy mount is going to take over with the laser rifle. It's still a main weapon. We didn't do any heavy weapons for him. And then with our flex mount, we're going to pick 2 of the GMS's weapons. So let's go into the weapons so you can see those a little bit and how they have their tables set up. So you see we've got with this, you can pick the heavy rifle, the main rifle, all of that, assault rifle and all that. So we picked the assault rifle, which has reliable too. So even if you miss, you still do 2 damage, which I thought was pretty sick. 1d6 damage, 1d10, or sorry, not 1, 10 range for the weapon. So that's going to be our other main. Within that, though, we need to pick 2 auxiliary weapons. And for him, I picked the pistol, which gives him the reliable rank 1, as well as a 3 threat range, which is pretty cool, and 1d3 damage, as well as the tactical knife for the mech. So give him some auxiliary and some close-up or weapons as he needs to, but otherwise he's going to be kind of fighting at range. But I want to show you guys what we get for the rank level 1 with the Sherman. So with the Sherman, this is so you can only get this at license level 2. But the cool thing you get with this is license level 1, you get to choose between these, or you get to use these 2 options. And the nice thing when you're building on your mech, nothing costs money. It's all about what licenses you have access to. So kind of a cool system. With this, I didn't do the reactor stabilizer. I thought it was cool. I didn't have enough SP points. We're going to get into that in a minute. But I chose the Soul Pattern Laser Rifle. So this one costs a heat to use, and we're going to do all that in our mechanics video, so don't worry if you don't know what heat is. But it does 1d6 damage plus 1 burn. And that burn stacks and stays until they can make an engineering check to clear it. So it's one that was really cool, I thought. And you get to kind of unload. Because if you take a main action, the barrage, you get to fire both guns. So he's going to shoot his assault rifle, shoot his laser rifle, and just going to like, burn it just shooting up there. So I'm stoked. I'm not going to see actually rolled out. I may make him an enemy just so I can get to roll with him a little bit for the campaign. But just I thought it was cool. So we picked out his weapons. Let's go back to the Sherman, and I'm going to pick out a couple other things too. Oh, sorry, back to the Everest. The Sherman is what we picked for our license level 1. So we've got our main weapon, the assault rifle. We've got our heavy weapon, or heavy mount weapon, using a main weapon in the heavy mount slot with our soul rifle. Then we've got our pistol and tactical knife in our flex mount slot. The other big thing you get to choose with these systems is your overall mech systems. But that's chosen by your, where is that at? Your SP. So under systems, SP. So we have an SP of 6, but you also add your grit to it. So we've got an SP of 7. So with that, we get to go through and determine what cool stuff we want to pick for our guy. So with this, I'm going to show you a couple of things because all of our stuff is going to be from the GMS system. I wanted my guy to be able to fly, like straight up real fly. Now that's real small there, but I'm giving him the Type 1 flight system. I'm also going to give him the turret drone because that's cool. It gives you a reaction turret drone strike, as well as the projected shield. So let's add that up. So we get 3 from flight. Oh, no, so not the projected shield. We get 3 from flight system, 2 from the turret drone. That puts us at 5 SP. So we've got 2 SP left to spend. And I chose not the... initially, I was going to choose the projected shield, but that pushed me up to 8. What I ended up choosing instead was the Pattern A Jericho deployable cover, because I thought that'd be cool to have. They throw out some cover, especially if they'd be kind of the merc, save himself first type guy. I thought that'd be right in character for him. So that's the big pieces. We've picked out our talents, we picked out our equipment, but let's add our equipment into Roll20. And I'm not going to add in all of this because this will be a lot of you watching me type, and that's not super interesting. So let's get into it. So I've added in some of the stuff in there already, but let's add in like all of the mech's stats, just so we've got everything in there, everything accounted for. Sweet. So with this guy, it's a size 1. With HP, he started off at 10, but then he also got to add in some of his additional there. So he's got 13 HP, 6 out of 6 heat, 5 out of 5 repair, because you know we only did that 1 level in whole. If we did another level, he'd get a little bit more of a bonus there. Now we need to put in his base stuff. So evasion, his base bonus for evasion with the Sherman system is 10. Sweet, so we add that plus 10 in there. That bumps it up to a total of 12 evasion, because we had that too from our agility earlier as well, with our agility bonus is on that too. You also have our speed in there. We had a base speed of 4, but we get to bump, or sorry, not base speed of... base speed of 4. We get to bump that up to 5 since we took the bonus on that side, which puts us up to 5 speed. E-defense, we've got that at 8. Max SP, bump that up to 6. Tech attack, our base is 0 for that, so nothing new on that. And then we've got our core systems in there. So we've got a 12 evasion, 5 speed, 8 e-defense, and then max special points was 7 on that. So we're good on that. So let's build in some of our weapons into the system. So we're going to build in our assault rifle first. And I am spelling terrible there. So with this, it has a range of 10, so pretty long range. Damage is 1d6 kinetic. Reliable for the tag. Doesn't add anything else to it. It doesn't have a additional damage or any kind of additional effects to it. So we've added that in. Let's add one more in. So we are going to add in the laser rifle. So the soul pattern laser rifle. So with this range of 10 as well, oh sorry, range of 8 for this one. Damage is 1d6 energy damage, but it also does +1 burn, which is very cool because it's kind of nice and nasty on that side. Uses 1 heat to use. So it's one that can overheat you if you use it too much, but it gives you some cool stuff too. So we've got our soul pattern laser in there. We've got 2 of our weapons. This, we're going to add in a couple more things just to show you how to do it. So we've added in our tailets, our weapons. Let's add in one of our reactions. So we've got one thing that can be used as reaction. So turret attack. Because we picked that turret drone as one of our pieces. Trigger an allied creature within 10 feet of the turret makes a successful attack. We'll throw that all in there. And then that'll be kind of our turret reaction. So we get to throw that in if we need to. And we've got that in there. And then we're going to add one flight or one mech system in there too, just so you can see the Type 1 flight system and how that all works. And so the nice thing with this is just kind of a lot of typing and all that for it. So that's why I didn't want to do too much of it, but wanted to show you how it goes. So with this one, you may choose to count any and all of your movement as flying. Though if you do end your turn flying, you will have to add heat for kind of versus size +1 at the end of your turn. So this guy's a size 1, so it'll be 2 heat at the end of his turn. So it stacks up quick. It's something you want to make sure you're very intentional about if you stay in the sky. But I thought it'd be cool to have that as an option. But you see, we've got our mech built. So we could go in there and start rolling, start playing. And got our weapons on that side. We got all of our stats in there. And we're good to go. So I wanted to do that, just have a quick walkthrough on that side to show you just how to build it and to help me learn the system as well. Since I find that just going through these builds just really makes the system click for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Also, just another quick announcements on those side. Come join us on the 29th. We're going to be playing this live, and I'd love to have you guys come through, support the crew, and get to see this amazing system played out at the table. Also, you may be one of the lucky ones and get to win your own copy of the PDF system. But outside of that, I hope you enjoyed. Drop a follow on Twitch if you haven't. Like and subscribe on YouTube. Every month there's a new system. There's going to be more goodness for Lancer as well throughout this month with our mechanics video coming up next week. And then right before launch, we're going to go through and show you the hostile big bad mech that we're building for the crew and see all the terrible things you can do to them. So stay tuned. And thank you guys for tuning in to the Lancer PC build. See you next time.